outside the court there. Now, back to Brexit. The divisions in British society have been laid bare by the result of the vote. And in a moment, we're going to speak to Brian Gould. He's the former British MP who's been waiting for this day for 45 years. But first, Professor Robert Patman from the University of Otago. Robert, thanks for giving us some time this morning. You're not convinced this result will stand?
I think we're seeing a rapidly moving situation, Rawdon. And the reason I say that is that I think, first of all, there is evidence that many of the pledges made by the Leave campaign seem to be unravelling. And secondly, that 3.5 million people have signed a petition, and it's still rising, that there should be a second referendum in the near future.
But the people have spoken, haven't they? I mean, those who've lost simply have to respect the opinion of the majority, do they not?
Oh, yes. I'm not suggesting that the result should not be respected. But we also have to take into account that a lot of people who voted for the Leave campaign have been deeply shocked by the consequences. That the whole pledge of the Leave campaign was Britain needs to take back control. That slogan has been completely undermined by the economic freefall that Britain has experienced since the referendum. Yeah,
so millions have been duped by a very, very clever PR campaign, you're saying. In your opinion, how much worse off will Britain be as a result of leaving the EU?
Oh, substantially. Europe has been the key to British prosperity in the last 40 years. When Britain joined the EU, it was known as the sick person of Europe. It has now the fifth largest economy in Europe. It was predicted before this referendum to have the fastest growth amongst any leading developing country. And also 50% of Britain's exports go to Europe. This whole referendum was not the result of a demand, mass demand. It was the result of Mr Cameron trying to control the hardliners who are against the EU within his own party. So what we have is an attempt at party management to try to control them by having a referendum. Mr Cameron hoped that the referendum would deliver the result he wanted. It was a gamble that went badly wrong.
One area we talk about taking back control. Economically, that's proven that that's not as easy done as said. What about control of the borders, though? Because that's been a major momentum behind a lot of the people who voted to leave.
Yes, but Rawdon, politics is always a trade-off. One of the great benefits Britain has had is being in a large single market of 550 million people. That's made British exports it's made British companies much more competitive and made us much more of a global player. When I say I mean Britain in that context. And, you know, yes, you can technically tighten your borders, but the fact of the matter is if Brexit goes ahead, Scotland will leave the UK and Northern Ireland will as well. So it'll be Little England. Do you think Little England will be a bigger force on the international stage than Britain within the EU? I think many Britons are rapidly coming to the conclusion, no, it won't.
Thank you very much indeed, Professor Robert Patman.